The crew worldwide, from Cali to Twitter, real hardcore fans, boxing ass niggas, consistency cops, police the views, we'll pull up receipts for any debate you choose. Shout outs to Clan Arky for the dope production. Ring Gang stay with the best discussions. Ring Gang Radio.
Of course, this week we have a pair of fights coming up, and a fight that we wanted to touch on too, but extenuating circumstances, last minute extenuating circumstances changed the whole, changed that fight, and we're going to talk about that. But first we'll talk about, I guess, the biggest fight for this week would be the World Boxing Super Series Super Middleweight Final between WBA champion George Groves versus Callum Smith. Now, as I'm pretty sure I've mentioned before, I am a fan of World Boxing Super Series. I was a fan of it when it came to fruition. I was especially happy about it when they did it in the cruiserweight division. As I've always said, cruiserweight division is probably the most underrated division in boxing. And the fact that they managed to get all four of the champions in that division to compete, which was nothing less than spectacular, and which led to some absolutely spectacular fights. I mean, the quarterfinals, there were some straight up fades and one dud. The semifinals were fight of the year candidates, and then the final itself was a straight up schooling. It was a schooling that we rarely see at the higher weight classes, and unfortunately, 168 didn't capture the magic that cruiserweight did, and that's probably because only one of the champions entered the tournament, and then Callum Smith, who was probably the higher, who was a good prospect at the time, who was a good name, and then you have Chris Eubank Jr., who was the more dynamic, probably the most dynamic participant in the event, and then you got a whole bunch of you have a faded ex-light heavyweight champion, and an American no one heard of, and a bunch of other Euros that no one's ever heard of before or seen fight.
Euro career mode.
So 168, unfortunately, was not as spectacular. No real fight of the year candidates. Decent fights, I mean, the most notable fight in the whole damn tournament was Groves versus Eubank Jr., which was supposed to be Eubank's coming out party, but he decided to train himself, and it showed in a way that was just I felt unprofessional just watching that fight.
Yo, great effort though. Like, he displayed maximum effort.
Maximum effort doing not a goddamn thing. Like, Groves was just simply, he was basic boxing. Like, he wasn't even doing anything like out of the ordinary. Like, he was just watching the dude. I think that's what the fight. I think it's like 118, 110, something around that. Because it was so one-sided to me. It was terrible.
And that's the thing. And honestly, Groves, he kind of disappointed me in that fight because I felt like he gave us a B performance. Like, he could have really closed the show. Could have really put a stamp on the whole tournament, really. But it's like he just kind of coasted, and I mean, Eubanks was leaving himself open, for mad counters. It's like, I'm like, oh my God, a consistent jab. It just, the fight showed you why Eubanks ain't won it with Golovkin. That's what the fight showed me.
Mm-hmm.
And kudos to Brook for taking that fade and altering his career.
Right.
So Eubanks, moonwalked out the division and, went somewhere else. And, hurt his brand, actually, because Groves, like you said, schooled him. But I can't say it was no great performance from Groves.
I mean, I think Groves was real. I mean, Groves realized that that Eubank was basic as all hell that night, and and he didn't want to put himself in harm's way. And so he is minimize the damage, You know,
and that's what separates, you know, these great fighters between very good fighters.
Mhm.
A great fighter would have fucking saw those openings as opportunities and really took advantage of that.
Right, and I mean he did to a degree, but he didn't do it to the way to actually try to stop him because Eubanks was trying his damnedest to walk into to walk himself into a fucking counter.
I'm like, bruh, like, but anyways, man, like I think Callum Smith is gonna get Groves, yo.
I mean, Callum Smith. I mean, I was high on him entering the tournament because I thought, he was a decent, he was a good prospect. But he hasn't impressed me all that much in this tournament. I mean, his opening fight was okay. It was decent. Can't give him a little trouble. He knocked him down. And then his quarterfinal. I mean, he fought the replacement, the Willow replacement in the tournament, and it was like a workman type of performance. It wasn't really impressive. So I mean. Yeah, I honestly think I just think that Groves has all the momentum right now, and I think he has one more good performance left in him in this tournament, and I think I think that he. I mean, I think it's gonna be a straight out. They're gonna shoot the fade. There's no question about it. I don't think there's gonna be any.
I think we're gonna see a good fight.
Well, in my case, unfortunately, I won't be able to see it live because I have to go to a mandatory staff retreat, and unfortunately, I don't think they'll look too highly on me whipping out my phone at like 4:15 when there's 45 minutes left and watching that fight on DAZN. Which, by the way, though, for the DAZN app though is wonderful. I started my free trial for the Joshua Povetkin fight. That shit is crisp. The app on the TV on my Roku was perfect. My phone app was perfect. I had no lag, none of that shit. So I would fully recommend it. But yeah, I don't think yeah, I don't think the manager would like it if I whipped up just to actually watch that fight. So I'm gonna have to watch that fight.
And it's a good fight because a good fight is gonna really take your attention. Like you gonna go, oh shit.
Yeah, right now, and I'm now I get like if niggas are starting to shoot the fade and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Though, it's gonna be hard for me to pay attention to some other shit. And like
I think crazy shit gotta pop off in the office or whatever to just make my eyes come off of a fight, bro.
Yeah, and I can't be electric because where my staff retreat is, it's in a damn library. So it's like I can't, I definitely can't be acting up in there.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's just like, it sucks that I'm gonna have to probably watch it later in the evening, but that's how it is. But I'm anticipating it, and hopefully it will end the 168 World Boxing Super Series on a high note for that. And yeah, man, I think
put some buzz in the division.
What's that?
And put some buzz in the division.
Yeah, exactly. Because 168, it seems like the division of the previous era, of Ward and Crotch and Darrell,
boring. But you know what? It became Badu Jack's division in my opinion, for like the last couple of years.
Right, because he was the only one really making noise, he had the fight of the year with James DeGale, who's pretty much as washed up as they come these days. He's horribly washed up. There's probably one bad loss away from retirement. And then you have Anthony Darrell, who should be a big star in this division, but for whatever reason doesn't fight often. And then you have Benavidez, who will probably be the cash cow in this division, but how long will he stay at 168? And then you have Zerdo, who is who's the antithesis
about him.
Yeah.
Hey, nobody makes noise, man. Yeah. Hey, y'all got to put on a great show this weekend, man.
Right, yeah, because 168 doesn't have 168 has no buzz, and Groves, Groves has had his share of good fights at 168, man. And we need
Groves, action fighter. Like, that's why I say he disappointed me in the Eubanks fight. Like, I remember Prince Nassim being so vocal about their performances afterward. Like, and I agreed with him. Like, man, y'all at the top level, y'all gotta, look better than this.
Right.
I mean, I remember, you know, Kessler and Kawasaki going at it. I mean, like,
No shit, I mean, cause don't even get me started about Joe Kawasaki, man. Shit, yeah.
bro, I'm just saying, like, when we supposed to get a top level fight, like, shoot, like, at least give me them Jeff Lacey, give me a Scott Pemberton, Omar Shika type fights. Like, give me a good fight, man. Like,
something with straight fades, and like I said, 168. You know, well, oh shit. Alexa, shut down. Sorry about that. That was my Alexa. It was going off, man. You know, I said a syllable that triggered it. But yeah, 168, man. It had an excitement for a minute. It had some decent fights, especially during the Super 6 tournament. It had some decent fights in there, but it's just like 168. There's too much.
That was a long time ago.
What's that?
That Super 6 was so long ago, bro. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, right, and 168 needs a kick in the ass. And unfortunately, let's say, you know, it was too bad that the champions in there couldn't enter this tournament because they could have really done something. But yeah, man, 168 needs this fight. We need, you know, to actually get some footing on the world level. Show that 168 got some talent too. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man.